So my brothers and my sisters, as we embrace this urgency of creating the beloved community, now is the time to be love. Love means understanding, redemptive goodwill toward all which seeks nothing in return. So be love by implementing the demands of justice to eliminate the school to prison pipeline that has so many black children entrapped. Be love by correcting voting policies that seek to suppress the votes of millions of black and brown people. Be love and implement the demands of justice by transforming a society that is disproportionately violent toward black lives, including black transgendered lives and indigenous lives. Be love and correct false narratives and economic policies that continue to divide and pit poor and working class black and white people against each other. Be love and implement demands of justice where systems and structures are deconstructed and lead the way of living in community that reimagines just, humane, equitable, and sustainable policies, practices, and behaviors. Love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them who hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and abuse you. Be love and do justice and love mercy and walk humbly with our God.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to the Student with King Reading Corner. It is an honor to have all 1,063 of you with us today for this reading. We are focused on serving the beloved community in which each of you are a part. We hope you will enjoy this book, and we hope this book will provide you with another way to help you become a good citizen in your beloved community. We are striving for a more just and humane world, and we hope you join us with the Be Love movement. In doing this, you will help us reach our goal. So please welcome our moderator, Mr. Tyrik Wynn, who is a student at Georgia State University. He's also an author himself and a CEO of his own production company. Welcome, Tyrik.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm just great. I'm excited about the reading. I know the boys and girls are excited about the reading. The last time the book was excellent, so we expect this one to be the same.
Absolutely. And to you and the King Center, thank y'all so much for having me. Always a pleasure to moderate these great seminars. So I'm very happy to be here.
All right. Well, without further ado, I'll let you introduce our author.
Yes. And also, those of you guys, the viewers out there who are watching, we want to do a quick roll call. So go ahead, let us know your school, the state, the city that you're tuning in from. We want to hear you guys. We want to be able to shout you guys out. I'm actually in the chat now. I seen someone from Tangi Gray. She's from Covington. Oh, we got one far away. We got Mrs. Lil's second grade class in Wyoming. Awesome. Yeah, so we got a whole lot of you guys tuning in. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our amazing guest. She's great, and she's back with us again. She was with us last month, and now she's with us again this month. Miss Sedara Burson. She is a licensed counselor and an author of so many books. So I'm very happy to welcome her. So let's go ahead and bring in Miss Sedara Burson now, and she will be reading to us her book, Master, Maasai and His Power to Choose. Welcome. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm so happy to be back with the King Center this morning.
Yes, and listen, we're so happy to have you. We had you last month, now we have you again, so you're gracing us with your presence again because you have multiple books, and I think that this is something that's so awesome. So you're actually going to have a chance to read Master, Maasai and His Power to Choose to the students, and then afterwards they're going to have a chance to ask some questions. We'll do a quick Q&A.
Yes, I look forward to reading it, and I look forward to answering the questions.
Yes, so let's go ahead and jump into this amazing book. Let's go ahead and cue this book up so we can get into the reading.
Absolutely. Master, Maasai and His Power to Choose. I dedicate this book to my son, nieces, and nephews for pushing me to be more responsible, accountable, and more importantly, a role model. You all inspire me to keep working on myself, and I look forward to watching you all grow into your greatness. There was a little boy named Maasai. He had all these parts inside of him. He had a happy part. He had an angry part. He had a silly part. He had a serious part. He had a peaceful part. And a wild part. But sometimes all of these parts would not get along and he would feel confused. Then, when he was confused about how he felt, he would get into trouble. Sometimes one of the parts would take over and not allow the other parts to show. One day, he went to school and noticed he had a new teacher. Even though he liked school very much, he did not like the idea of having a new teacher. His angry part took over all of the other parts and would not allow them to come out. Maasai's angry part caused him to begin talking in class, getting out of his seat, and refusing to listen to his teacher. When she asked him to sit down, he did not listen. A little later, Maasai sat down and listened to his new teacher. He realized that he was still able to learn the lessons she taught. His angry part decided to let the happy part come out, and he was able to participate in class and learn. A few days later, his silly part took over while he was in class, and it did not let the other parts come out. He began making jokes, laughing, and teasing his classmates. His teacher had to ask him to calm down. Maasai chose to listen to his teacher, and the silly part allowed his serious part to come out this time. After meeting some of Maasai's difficult parts, the teacher decided to call his parents. After speaking with his teacher, Maasai's parents talked to him about his behavior in school that day. They asked him why he had been getting out of his seat and teasing other students. Maasai told him that his angry part came out, and the other time he got into trouble, his silly part came out. Maasai's parents said, "Son, you have to think about when it is okay to be silly and when it is okay to be serious. You have the power to choose which parts come out at what times." Maasai thought about it and said, "I know. I can be silly with my friends after school and serious when I need to learn in school." Maasai's parents said, "If you make better choices about which part comes out, you might not get into trouble at school anymore." He thought about how he moved from being happy to angry, silly to serious, and yet he was still Maasai. No matter how many things changed in his life, he was able to choose to help his thoughts, feelings, and actions to get along. Maasai said, I can control all of me. I help shape my own destiny. The end. I'm so happy you all got to sit in and listen to this book. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I loved reading it to you all this morning. Thank you.
That was amazing. I loved it. No, it's that was really good. And a few key takeaways here. One, we all have lots of emotions. And if you've heard that saying, there's a time and a place, like there's always a various time and a place for various emotions. So like the scenario we're in right now, we're happy, we're excited, we're having fun and stuff, but we're not angry. So, it's just one of those things where like it's always a time and a place for various emotions. And then also never want your teacher to call you mom and dad.
You never want that.
Because I remember back when I was in school, my parents got some calls. It just wasn't nice. So yeah, so you always want to make sure that you just listen to your teachers, do what they tell you to do, get your work done. You're gonna be all good. Yeah. So, and we actually have our first question. This is from Miss LaWanda Webb. Of Usher Elementary School in Atlanta, Georgia. She wants to know how she can get a signed copy of this book by the author. How can they get a signed copy of the book?
Absolutely. So if you go to my website, Sedara Burson, LPC.com, I can get that order directly and I can write your son's name in there. If you go to Amazon or the other third-party places, it comes directly from there. So I don't have the opportunity to sign it. So you want to go directly to my website if you want a signed copy. And that's SedaraBursonLPC.com.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Listen, we want our book signed. Absolutely. We want a signed copy. I know I speak for everybody when they say they want a signed copy. And just to reiterate, those of you guys who are just now tuning in, make sure you guys comment your questions for Miss Sedara. I have a chance to get to some of them. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can before we run out of time. Next question comes from Corey Gray. He said, "What inspired you to write the story and your other stories that you've written?"
Yeah, so I wanted to write books to help children learn to be happy, connected adults. As a counselor, I work with a lot of individuals who are working through stuff. I'm working through stuff that we didn't necessarily get to learn in our childhood. So I'm hoping these books will help us learn some of these very important concepts that help us have control over ourselves, our lives, our choices, and allow us to be the best in the world.
Awesome. That's amazing. And actually somebody said, Maggie Bonnet, she says Miss Burson's books are a must read.
Hi, Maggie. Thank you.
Yeah. And then our next question comes from Rebecca McKinley. She said, what inspired you to write this? What inspired you to write the book? And that's from Claire at Morris Brandon.
So for this book in particular, I've worked with children. I've been a daycare teacher. I'm a mother, and I know how hard it is for kids sometimes to learn that they have all these different parts, but they also have the power to choose. And I want them to really, really get that. I want them to understand that they can pick and choose how they respond to what comes up for them. So I'm hoping kids learn that lesson as early as possible. So that was definitely my inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about controlling your emotions. And, because like I said earlier, we have various types of emotions. So it's all about controlling our emotions. Next question, Tasha. Not going to attempt that last name. But Tasha, she says, was your book based on a true story? How long did it take you to write the book? And where did the name Maasai come from? Good question.
Wow, lots of questions.
Yeah.
So the story was something that I sort of made up, but later in my life, I seemed to experience it with my own son, whose name is Maasai. That name comes from a group of people in Africa, the Maasai warriors, the tribe. They were very strong warriors, and I felt the energy of my son, and I thought he is definitely that energy. So that's where that name came from. It took me about, I would say, from start to finish, 6 months to write the book. because it takes time to try to connect what you want to say to the actual words and make sure that it's something that the kids can understand. So thank you for your question, Tasha.
Yeah, it was very good book for like students to understand, kind of walk them through. And I think that the way you wrote it so well that they actually got, they understood it. I'm pretty sure that they understood it because you're a great author. So
I hope so. Thank you.
absolutely. So next question, Sharon Lil, she says, how many books have you published? And that's from Amaya in her second grade class.
Oh, hi, Amaya. Hi, Sharon or Sharon. I have published 3 books and I have another 3 coming out. So keep your eyes open. Look out for them.
Ooh, that's awesome. 3 books. Well, no, 6. Well, it's going to be 6 books, right?
6.
6 books. Oh, that's awesome. And Corey Gray again, he says, where did his emotions come from and how did he know that they were his parts?
Wow. So I think he didn't necessarily know where his emotions came from or that he had all those parts. I think that's the purpose of the book, is to try to help people understand that we are one, and inside of us we have many, and that one, the one person that we are, has the power to sort of control them all. But sometimes he learned about his parts through how he was behaving in class or on the playground. And he had an opportunity to get feedback from other people, like his teachers, to tell him about his parts. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, really great question. Thank you, Corey, for that. Teeny Jones, she says, my second grade class wants to know if you will be writing a series based on Maasai.
That's a great question. I think after these 6 books are done, there's so many different things I can do. And that's something I will think about. So great question. And I'm taking that under serious consideration. I'd like to have a book where they all kind of come together and have a story at some point.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool if you got I think last one was Nasir, so you got Nasir and Maasai, then of course the other people that you that'd be kind of cool to put them all in one book. Yeah.
Yes.
And Miss Watkins, STEM class, she says, did you write the book based off of the Black Lives Matter movement? And that comes from Malay Thomas in 5th grade.
Hi, if it's Malay or Malia, thank you for your question. So the books I wrote really just off of the movement of us being better people all together. But I do think it helps support Black lives, and I hope it supports all lives in allowing us to do our best, be our best. And so hopefully that answers your question, Malia.
Thanks for correcting me on that.
Well, I'm not sure. We're both learning, so I said it both ways to ensure maybe we get it.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure you had it right. I think it's Malia too. I'll try to do better. Tani Jones, our emotional lessons this week is about managing emotions. This story was a perfect compliment. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm hoping that's what all these books are about: social, emotional learning, and emotional maturity. So thank you.
Yes. And then Corey Gray from Malaysia in our second grade class. How did you know that you wanted to be an author, and how long have you been a writer?
Wow. So I knew a long time ago, probably when I was in graduate school. So maybe back in 2005, dating myself. I knew that I wanted to share stories and I wanted to share information with people, and I wanted to figure out ways to do that. And I wanted to do it with children. I wanted to do it with adults. And so it's been quite some time. But I knew when I was learning more about myself and how to help other people that this was just another way that I could maybe, do that.
Yeah, that's great. And it's kind of crazy because depending on when writing, it can take a while sometimes, especially if you experience have you ever experienced writer's block before when writing your books?
Absolutely. Because it's, trying to figure out how to connect all the dots. And so you just kind of get stuck. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nakeej Miles.
Nakenji.
Nakenji. Okay. My daughter absolutely loved the book. It was #1 for bedtime for a whole week. Oh, look.
Oh,
Bedtime
thank you. Hi, Nakenji. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, but that's really good. Listen, parents are reading your book to kids when it's time for them to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I appreciate the support. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see who else we have in the chat. Let's see. Oh, somebody said this. Sharon or Sharon had. They said, "What is the topic of your next book?"
Well, the next book is about my nephew, Elijah, and he is helping people understand the importance of taking care of the earth and not littering.
Yes, that's
Yes.
really good. Going green, taking care of our earth, and it's not just like taking care of our earth. It's not just on Earth Day. It's like it has to be
Every day. Yes. Yes.
Corey Gray says from Arthur in our 2nd grade class, how old is Maasai, your son?
So Maasai is 8. He'll be 9 in January, and he's a 3rd grader at Drew Charter School. So, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. And then Michelle Franklin, she said, congratulations on 3 more books.
Thank you, Michelle. I so appreciate it.
Yeah. And then Maggie Bonnet, excellent, loved it. The lessons from the book can be used to help children and adults. So not only is it helping kids, but you're also helping adults too.
I hope so. I hope it reaches everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and let's see. I think we have time for probably like one more question. Let me see. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Corey Gray. One of his scholars asked, "How old is she?" Feel free not to answer.
How old am I?
I think so, or maybe the person about the Earth Day or about the Earth book. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm happy to answer Elijah's age, and he is 10, and so yeah.
Okay. And then how old did you say Maasai was again?
Maasai is 8.
Okay, and then how old was Nasir from the last book?
Well, Nasir right now he's in high school now, but when I wrote that book, it was about him when he was really little.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, and then Nia Educational. This book is great for teaching young children self-management skills. All of Sedara's books are great for supporting PBIS and SEF.
Oh, thank you, Nia Educational. Thank you, Brandy.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, I think that's all the time that we have for questions. Viewers, thank y'all so much for participating, asking the questions, and streaming in live every time we do Students with King. This is amazing. Great to hear from you guys as always. Miss Sedara, thank you so much for taking time out to join us. And good luck on your future endeavors. Good luck on your future books. Maybe we can have you back sometime.
I would love to come back, and thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate all the comments, especially the ones that are talking about social emotional learning, because that is the whole point of the Be Love movement and what we're doing here today. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, thank you so much for allowing me to be your moderator. I'm Tyrik Wynn. Make sure y'all go follow me on the gram at TyrikWynn_TV. Kids, not sure if y'all can take your phones out in class, so you might have to do it after class, depending on how your teacher feel about that. But yes, thank y'all so much. Thank you to the King Center. Thank you, Mr. Donald, always for having me, choosing me to be the moderator. It was a great experience, and looking forward to doing much more Students with King. I'm going to turn it back over to you. You can close us out.
Thank you for everything. It was a great reading, a great correspondence. and the questions were outstanding. And I'm so pleased because it's doing exactly what we want to do. We want to support our beloved community, support the teachers in carrying out their social, emotional learning objectives while students are enjoying the reading. So thank you. Thank you all for attending, and teachers, a special thanks for making this opportunity available for your students. The Beloved Movement is a reminder that all of us have the power to act kindly and create a world that is fair for everyone. Our CEO, Dr. King's youngest daughter, Ms. Bernice A. King, asks you to join the movement. So please go to www.thekingcenter.org and sign the pledge. Please remember to take the survey. I need your feedback. The feedback I get helps make the programs we do here at the King Center much better for our students as well as the teachers and those who watch them. Once again, thank you all for joining.
So my brothers and my sisters, as we embrace this urgency of creating the beloved community, now is the time to be love. Love means understanding, redemptive goodwill toward all which seeks nothing in return. So be love by implementing the demands of justice to eliminate the school to prison pipeline that has so many black children entrapped. Be love by correcting voting policies that seek to suppress the votes of millions of black and brown people. Be love and implement the demands of justice by transforming a society that is disproportionately violent toward black lives, including black transgendered lives and indigenous lives. Be love and correct false narratives and economic policies that continue to divide and pit poor and working class black and white people against each other. Be love and implement demands of justice where systems and structures are deconstructed and lead the way of living in community that reimagines just, humane, equitable, and sustainable policies, practices, and behaviors. Love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them who hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and abuse you. Be love and do justice and love mercy and walk humbly with our God.